Hi guys, this is Sadek from Dredwin.com, and in this video, we'll show you 6 methods through which you could downgrade your OnePlus phone from OxygenOS 14 to OxygenOS 13. In other words, from Android 14 to Android 13. Do note that each of the 6 methods will wipe off all the data from your phone, so please make sure to take a backup beforehand. And once you have done so, let's get started. This will be a discussion video. I will discuss all the 6 methods with you, and then you could try out the method which you prefer and which is the most convenient for you. So on that note, let's get started. The first method is the official method and it's the most recommended one as well. So in this method, what you have to do is simply download the official OxygenOS 13 downgrade firmware. This firmware has been released by OnePlus itself. So I made a guide and you could refer to my guide and download the firmware from there. So let's say for OnePlus 9 Pro, if you go to my guide, just a minute, let me open my guide, and from this guide you could download the downgrade firmware. This is the firmware, so get hold of the firmware and then transfer the firmware onto your phone. These are the official release firmware from OnePlus themselves. So simply get hold of the firmware. Once you have got the firmware, send them to your device, and after that you will then have to enable USB debugging on your phone. So go to settings menu. From settings menu you will have to go to about device, then go to version and tap on version number 7 times. You will get a prompt that you are now a developer. So go back, again go back and go to additional settings, and you should now see developer option. So go there and enable the toggle next to USB debugging. USB debugging is optional, but you will have to enable developer option. Enabling developer option is the main task. You may skip USB debugging if you want, but just make sure to enable developer option. Once you have enabled developer option, go back, again go back. Now go to about device, then tap on OxygenOS, then tap on the overflow icon in the top right and select local install. On some phones, the local install option might be grayed out or it might not work. So I have made a separate guide and a video on the same. So let me show you that as well. So if local install option is missing or is not there on your phone, then all you have to do is simply turn off Wi-Fi on your phone, enable developer option, and then remove the data from the software update app. The software update app is a system app. So just a minute, let me show you that as well. So simply go to apps. First and foremost, turn off the Wi-Fi, then enable developer option, then go to app management, tap on the Wi-Fi icon, show system, and now search for the software update app. Go there, go to its storage usage and tap on clear data and then tap on delete. Once you have done so, wait for a few seconds and then again go to the screen, and this time around you should now see the local install option. Once you are seeing the local install option, simply select it, and now you will have to choose the Android 13 OxygenOS 13 downgrade firmware. So make a selection and then the installation will now start. The installation will take up to around 15-20 minutes. Once that is done, your phone will then automatically reboot to the Android 13 OxygenOS 13 firmware and the downgrade stands complete. So this is the most safest and the recommended approach to get the job done. But apart from that, there exist 5 more methods. The only drawback with this method is it will only work if you could currently access the OS. If you cannot access the OS, meaning if your phone is currently in a soft brick or a boot loop state, or it's stuck in the fastboot mode, then you will not be able to use this method, and in that case you might have to use some other way out. So let's check out some of the other methods. So next up is using the Fastboot ROM, and using the Fastboot ROM we have 4 methods inside this Fastboot ROM method. There exist 4 sub methods. So first off, there are a few phones which directly have the Android 13 Fastboot ROM. As you could see, for the OnePlus 9 Pro and the 10 Pro, both of these phones have the Android 13 Fastboot ROM, whereas the OnePlus 8T, 9R and 9 only have the Android 11 Fastboot ROM. So if your phone has the Android 13 Fastboot ROM, then it's not an issue. Simply flash them onto your phone and your phone will then downgrade to Android 13. But if your phone has Android 11, then after flashing the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, you will then have to do an update to Android 13. So I will show you all these methods. So let's get started with these methods. So first off, for those phones which directly have an Android 13 ROM, which is the case with OnePlus 9 Pro and 10 Pro. So currently your phone should be running the latest Android 14, that's quite obvious. And now in all the methods which involve Fastboot ROM, you will have to unlock the bootloader on your phone, and unlocking the bootloader will wipe off all the data and it might make the warranty null and void as well. So there are 4 methods inside the Fastboot method. All these 4 methods will wipe off all the data from your phone. So please make sure to take a backup, and it might make the warranty null and void as well. So if that's well and good, then the first sub method inside the Fastboot method is for those phones which have an Android 13 Fastboot ROM, which is the OnePlus 9 Pro and the 10 Pro. So get hold of the ROM from here and extract them onto your PC. So as you could see, this is the ROM file in my case for the OnePlus 9 Pro. This is the Fastboot ROM for the OnePlus 9 Pro, and it's based on OxygenOS 13, Android 13. Once you have got the ROM, you will now have to unlock the bootloader and then boot your phone to Fastboot mode using the adb reboot bootloader command. Once your phone is in the Fastboot mode, you then just have to launch the flash all file. Either it will be named as flashall.bat file or install.all.bat file, that does not matter. Just make sure it's the batch file. So after booting your phone to Fastboot mode, simply launch the batch file and it will then install the Android 13 firmware. Once the install is done, your phone will automatically reboot to the OxygenOS 13, and with this, the downgrade is complete. But this is only valid for those which have an Android 13 Fastboot ROM. On the other hand, if your phone has an Android 11 Fastboot ROM, then there are 2 to 3 different approaches that you could take. So let me show you those approaches as well. So first and foremost, if your phone has an Android 11 ROM and the Android 14 is currently in a beta stage. So let's assume your phone is OnePlus 8T and it has an Android 11 ROM. As you could see from here, it only has an Android 11 Fastboot ROM. And let's suppose the OxygenOS 14 is currently in the beta stage. So in that case, you could use the Oxygen Updater app to get this job done. So what you have to do is first and foremost, flash the Android 11 Fastboot ROM. That is quite simple. Simply unlock the bootloader, boot your phone to Fastboot mode, and then flash the Android 11 Fastboot ROM using the flash all file or the install all file. So once you have flashed that file, your phone will boot to the OxygenOS 11 Android 11 firmware. After that, you will now have to install the Oxygen Updater app from Play Store. Once you have installed the app, simply launch it, and then you will be able to download the OxygenOS 13 update. From here directly it will give you the OxygenOS 13 update. Do keep in mind that you will only get the OxygenOS 13 update if the OxygenOS 14 is currently in the beta state. If your phone has OxygenOS 14 in the stable state, then the Oxygen Updater app will show the Android 14 update, and this fix will not work. This fix is only for those phones which have the Android 14 in the beta stage. So if your phone has Android 14 in the beta stage, then after you have flashed the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, you can install this app, and the app will then bring up the Android 13 firmware. So download the Android 13 firmware from here, and once you have got the Android 13 firmware, you just have to do a local install as we have shown before. So do a local install, and after doing a local install, the firmware will be installed in one partition only. You will now have to flash the firmware across both the slots. While it's not compulsory, but it's always advised to do so. So you could refer to my guide and the video to flash the firmware across both the slots. So I have made a video on that as well. You just have to boot your phone to the TWRP recovery and flash this firmware zip file. It's as simple as that. Boot to TWRP and flash the zip file, and this will flash the OxygenOS 13 across both the slots. So again, I am repeating, if your phone has the Android 11 Fastboot ROM and the Android 14 is currently in the beta stage, then first off, boot your phone to Fastboot mode and flash the Android 11 Fastboot ROM. After that, you can install the Oxygen Updater app from Play Store, then launch it. And since the Android 14 is currently in a beta stage, the app will bring up the latest Android 13 stable update. Download the said update, and then you could install it using the local install method. After that, your phone will boot to the stable Android 13 OS, and with this you could then flash the latest firmware across both the slots using the firmware flash tool. It's not compulsory, but it's recommended. So get this job done and your task stands complete. Now comes the third method. So this is again for those phones which have an Android 11 Fastboot ROM, but they have the Android 14 stable build. So in those phones, the Oxygen Updater app will not work. Let me show you why. So first and foremost, you will have to boot your phone to Fastboot mode, and as shown before, flash the Android 11 Fastboot ROM. Once you have flashed the OxygenOS 11 Fastboot ROM, you will then have to, if you now then install the Oxygen Updater app, then it will bring up the Android 14 update, and it will not bring the Android 13 update, because the Android 14 is currently in the stable state for your phone. Since the Android 14 is stable, the app will bring the Android 14 state OS, and that will be of no use for us. So if the Android 14 is in the stable state for your phone, then you cannot use, or rather it's of no use to use the Oxygen Updater app. There is no use in that. You could only use this app if the Android 14 is currently in a beta state. So if Android 14 is in a stable state, then after flashing the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, you have two options. Either keep on installing the OTA updates until you reach the Android 13 update, and then stop installing the OTA update. This will take quite a lot of time and network bandwidth as well, but it's a safer method. Or if you want to take a risky approach, this risky approach is very short and it will not take that much time frame, but it's risky because we haven't tested these files. I have got hold of the local install file from the third-party sites. I have although done a test on my phone, but I cannot vouch for the safety of these files for your phone as well. So please proceed ahead at your own risk. So what I have done is I have got hold of the Android 13 local install files for numerous OnePlus phone which does not have the Android 13 Fastboot ROM. So as you could see, the Android 13 Fastboot ROM is there for the OnePlus 9 Pro and the 10 Pro. For the rest of the three phones, I managed to get hold of the latest or the last Android 13 firmware. The link are from the third-party external website. So please download at your own risk and make sure to verify the region code as well. I have made that in bold. So you may download the Android 13 firmware. This is the latest Android 13.1 firmware for your phone. So you may get hold of this from here. So in this method, the last method, after flashing the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, you could directly do a local install using this file, and it will then automatically take you to the latest OxygenOS 13.1. The only drawback with this method is the fact that we haven't tested these files, so it might prove to be a risky approach. So proceed ahead at your own risk. If that's well and good, so you could either, after installing the Fastboot ROM, you could either simply install OTA updates, official updates, till you reach the Android 13. This is the official method and safer method, but it will take quite a lot of time. On the other hand, you could also, after flashing the Fastboot ROM of Android 11, you could simply install the Android 13 firmware local install file which I have given. This will save a lot of time and network bandwidth, but this is not tested. But if you want, you may try it out as well. So for that, boot your phone to Fastboot mode, flash the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, and then simply do a local install of the file which I have given in this section. So get it from your device and the region and do a local install, and this will take you from OxygenOS 11 directly to OxygenOS 13.1, skipping the OxygenOS 12. So it will save you quite a lot of time. Now apart from that, we also have one more method. The last method is using the MSM download tool. So in this tool, you could flash the OPS firmware. After booting your phone to EDL mode, I have made a separate guide on the same. You could refer to my guide and flash the OPS firmware. For that, boot your phone to EDL mode and then flash the OPS firmware. This will take you to Android 11. Once you are on Android 11, you could then refer to any of these four approaches given in the method 2A, B, C, and D to flash the Android 13 firmware. So first off, flash the OxygenOS 11 firmware using the MSM tool, and then you could use any of these four methods in the method 2 Fastboot ROM to update your phone to the Android 13 firmware. So guys, these were the 6 methods to get this job done. Let me again tell you in a nutshell. The first is using the official method. In this, the OnePlus officially rolls out the downgrade firmware, it's the safest and the most recommended approach. So simply go to my guide, get hold of the downgrade firmware, and then do a local install. After that, you will be taken to the OxygenOS 13 firmware and your task stands complete. Then the next method is using the Fastboot ROM, and in this we have 4 sub methods. So the first method is for those phones which have a direct Android 13 Fastboot ROM. In that case, you just have to flash the Android 13 Fastboot ROM, just unlock the bootloader, boot your phone to Fastboot mode, and simply flash the file Android 13 Fastboot ROM using the batch file. It will be named either install.batch or update.batch, that does not matter. So in that case, for instance, for the case of OnePlus 9 Pro and 10 Pro, you could simply flash the Android 13 Fastboot ROM, and then your phone will boot to the OxygenOS 13 and the downgrade is complete. Now apart from that, we have 3 more cases. So in case your phone only have an Android 11 Fastboot ROM, then in that case you will have to flash the Android 11 Fastboot ROM. Once you have done the flashing, after that you could then do an upgrade to Android 13 using 3 methods. The first method is for those phones which have the Android 14 in beta. So in that case, after doing an downgrade to Android 11 via the Fastboot ROM, you could then download and install the Oxygen updated app. And since the Android 14 is currently in a beta stage, the app will give you the Android 13 stable build. Download the file and then do a local install, and then your phone will downgrade to Android 13. After that, you may do flashing to both the slots. It's advised. You may refer to my guide and get the job done. The next approach is for those phones which have flashed the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, but the Android 14 is in the stable state. For those phones, the Oxygen updated app will not work because it will end up giving us the Android 14 OS, which is of no use because we are currently on Android 11 and we want to downgrade to Android 13 and not 14. So you will not be able to use the app. So in such cases, if Android 14 is in the stable state, which is the case with most OnePlus phone, so after flashing the Android 11 Fastboot ROM, you could either keep on installing the OTA updates till you reach the Android 13, or you could take a slightly risky approach and download the Android 13 local install files from the above section. So this is the section. Again, I am repeating, these links are from the third-party sites. I have tried on my phone, it has worked, but I cannot vouch for the guarantee for this file. But these are the latest file for Android 13.1, OxygenOS 13.1, as you could see from here. So get hold of this file, and after flashing the OxygenOS 11 Fastboot ROM, you could then simply install this file via the local install method and get the job done. Apart from that, you also have the MSM tool. So if your phone is currently bricked and you cannot access the Fastboot mode, then you could flash the OPS firmware and your phone will boot to the OxygenOS 11. After that, you could then either use any of these 4 methods to flash the OxygenOS 13 update onto your phone and your task stands complete. So guys, these were the 6 methods through which you could carry out this task. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section, and do keep in mind that all these 6 methods will wipe off all the data from your phone. Moreover, the Fastboot method will also require you to unlock the bootloader on your phone. This might make the warranty null and void as well. So keep this point in mind, and if you have any queries, do let me know in the comment section, and thanks a lot for watching.